might control a lot of what happens in people's lives based upon their power and influence of the media and industries, etc., then you were labeled as a possible domestic terrorist, right? And they're doing the same thing now. If you don't follow the COVID agenda, if you think that there might have been something malicious or inaccurate with the the counting of certain things, I'll just say it. I can talk about whatever I want to here on my website, dude. If you question the election, if you question the effectiveness of vaccines, if you question the COVID, then you could be labeled as a domestic terrorist. And you know what? It's like, this was what was done back in the Nazi time. People that weren't a part of the Nazi party were terrorists. If you didn't fit the Nazi party, you were a fucking terrorist. Wake the fuck up, people. They're labeling you somebody that believes in the freedom to express themselves and help others. You're a terrorist. Do you believe in God? You're a terrorist. Do you believe in freedom? You're a terrorist. Do you think for yourself? You're a terrorist. No, we're not terrorists. We're people, and we're just not following their Borg agenda,
dictatorship,
designed off of what the Nazis did.
Well, that's it. It's like, if you look at the New World Order and this whole thing globally, like, this is a global orchestrated event, and it's quite funny when you look at the countries that's projecting it. It's all the Commonwealth countries, like Canada, Australia, South Africa, Germany. Like, you look at, it's almost like to say, like, are we witnessing the fall of the British Empire at the time of the end of Pisces? Are we witnessing the fall of the British Empire and the collapse of the American corporation with the collapse or the of the US dollar, to say? Because I mean, they're deliberately shutting down the economy to weaken the US dollar to roll out the Great Reset. Like, it's clear what they're doing. Like, you can't say that you go and look at the puppeteers, the Berkshire Hathaways and the real people that control the stock market. Like, you go and look at their shares have gone up. All their money's invested in sort of a communist country, where I believe the real sort of command is coming from, because it's almost like to say that, when you tie in, actually, one thing I actually do want to tell you, actually, sorry, just made me realize, but when you tie in the threat, of what the media projects with climate change, right? That's just another fear. If it's not terror, it's cases, or COVID, or terror, or, ISIS. Like, it's the same sort of drumming. But with this sort of climate threat, which I don't believe it's actually what they are saying it is. Like, I believe this is sort of like, yes, we do need to change and become more sustainable, but the climate threat within itself, and is sort of steering it towards saying, oh, well, it's capitalism, and this is where you see the weakening of the dollar and the closing down of the economy, which ties into capitalism. And then the rise of sort of the Chinese empire, which is socialism orchestrated by sort of a communist sort of regime. But, you piece all that together and stuff, and you start to get a gist of, it's not just happening in one country, it's happening globally, which, again, part of the New World Order. But it's just all, so clear now, and it's all being exposed. And so it's nuts.
They were promised this. They were promised in 1947. That if this just came to me, they were promised in 1947 that if they created, and they were promised before this as well, but a one world system to get everybody underneath that one world system, then they would be allowed in this galactic empire. But in order to enter this galactic empire, everybody has to be under one system of governance. And they think that by creating this false system to get everybody under their control, that's going to give them a ticket into this galactic council. And I don't think that it is. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to see this as a complete abomination. And it isn't how you get a civilization to follow. Like, well, dude, what are the great kings and queens? Like, what did they they used to be a great king or a great queen would do anything the knight would do, or anything. I mean, they would do anything they would ask somebody else to do. That's what makes a great, unless they can't, right? It's like, like I know I can't freaking climb Mount, you know, like do the stuff that gentleman did freehand, 4,000 feet, you know, rock climbing. That I wouldn't be able to do that. My mind would just freak
Alex.
out. Stud. Yeah, he's a stud. What's his name? Alex the Stud rock climber guy. I know he's a freaking boss, man. But I could at least say, hey, I can't do this. Can you do this? That's what makes a great leader, a great ruler, a great king, a great queen. Not one that sits back and says, do what I say, but don't do what I do.
Well, that's exactly it. And I mean, you're seeing the politicians, you know, dictate what you should be doing, but they're just doing whatever they want themselves. But I wanted to say this to you as well. Like this, it blows my mind, right? But you remember, like, obviously the 2018 Californian wildfires. And then we had in 2019, 2020, we had the Australian wildfires. That if you were to, what you were just speaking about, you know, with this government, sort of one world governance, to say that, and a part of the Agenda 21 and all this sort of stuff, but you can see what they're doing with these fires that you see in Turkey, you see in Greece, you see in the Amazon, you see in Asia, you see in Russia, you see in Australia, California, but they're all building this Hyperloop train system, you know, and it's like I'm not saying that they're using direct energy weapons or anything like that, but if you hear,
I don't think they are, dude. It'd be a lot easier for them to just start, you know, pay some people, hey, go do this, go take care of this, or special forces from other countries could do it. You wouldn't need dues. I think the whole due thing is a way to get people, because the amount of energy that it would take, because I've talked to people that worked in the military for 20 plus years and did like top secret projects and stuff, and they say that's freaking nuts. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it would make a lot more sense to just send people out and do the shit, man. Yeah.
Well, even if that is the case, I mean, you hear, like, I heard a lot of eyewitness reports say that, you know, there was thunder and lightning caused the fires and stuff like that. But one in Australia was that there was like 160 arsonists, and you're just like, well, why aren't we arresting these people? Like, there was 500 million animals that died. There was homes that were lost. Like, why aren't we going after the arsons? And it's like, you know, squashed. And like, you know, government comes into this land and takes over and goes, well, it's not safe to build back on. And the next minute you find out that they're building a Hyperloop, you know, and you start to connect the dots. And it's just like, it's more and more clear that this is that sort of, they're flushing out from the rural areas and pushing people into these sort of city hubs where they can be tracked, traced, monitored, surveillanced, and that what you like to call it. Yeah.
This whole, you know what? Let's talk about this for a minute, since this is going to be part 2. This is going to be exclusive for the website. So we've got some great people watching this live on the website right now. Thank you all for being here with us. Most of this is going to go up on the YT, but the infusion of graphene and certain technologies, like, first of all, can you please show me the science, like real science, that injecting yourself with graphene and mRNA is going to prevent somebody else from getting a virus? Please show me real science. Okay. And then second of all, the mRNA thing and the graphene thing is really bizarre. Like, I've seen nanotechnology videos of graphene that are 10 years old where they talk about how it integrates with the cellular body and stuff. And I don't know enough about it to say it's going to destroy the human body immune system or what, because I don't know enough about it, but I can say it's really fucking weird. And it's also really bizarre that you're trying to like, if you want to mine a human body, which Microsoft's patent W0606006A1 is to mine the human body for digital currency, and to take your movements and your thoughts and your emotions and everything they can mine from your body and turn it into a digital currency that's linked to a corporation, a centralized system that will then pay you when it deems you have done the task that you were supposed to do. And that could also be linked with your thoughts. But if they could integrate nanotechnologies into your body, then they're going to know if you've been injected. They're going to know what you've been injected with, and they're going to be able to track you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't even need your phone. And if they can figure out a way to pick up all the level, like all the chemicals in your body, the emotional, the chemicals that are produced by certain emotions and excitement and scared and happy and all this other stuff, This is them. They want to mine you. And this is their way, in my opinion, to harness the human body as some kind of, as a part of their weird mining system. They want to merge you with the machine. They want to integrate you into this transhuman system, like with no identity. And I think this is a step to that.
Yeah, 100%. That was so deep. I love that. I'm going to play that back, Rex, and just listen to that so many times, because that was great. You know, you went so deep then. That's really just, it was amazing.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's almost like to say that they're trying to trap the human soul and to put them in a cloud. You know, like that is it. I've heard people speak about that as well. That is what they're trying to do. And you see the beginning phases of it. Maybe this is why we're all waking up. Maybe this is why it's classed as the Great Awakening. And you know the days of the apocalypse by the marking of the beast. Like maybe this is, as I said at the beginning, like it can't be by chance that we are 7.8 billion people on the planet as reincarnated souls. For what purpose other than to put a stop to this, and to wake up so that they can't do this? Or, do we accept it because this could be the next phase of evolution? Like, should we just accept it because evolution got us here? But it doesn't give them the right to go and play God, though. Like they can't go and play God. It's not up to CEO of Microsoft to play God on, whether we get this chance to live or not, or whether they do or not.
He loves you so much.
I know, it's crazy. It's you look at the whole eugenics line of it and you hear the people talk and they say that they've dumbed us down over generation and generation. And, you got people running for the big vax to get their life back, but they're literally saying to your face, you're not getting your old life back. And this is the new normal. And to socially distance, and you look at the social credit system, and what you just said, like this is all the beginning. Like it's not, it is the plan, and again, like with the Hyperloop and stuff like that, like they've just closed down. Like if you go onto like the live flight tracker and you have a look over Australia of the planes, like you could probably count maybe 50 planes. But if you go and look over sort of America, like there's a lot, but Australia is at a standstill. Like we are not locked down as bad as what they say we are, but it's pretty crazy that this is what we're witnessing in Australia right now, that we are restricted. They are preventing us from leaving states, and like I'm telling you, like you hear our ancestors all say that they fled a communist dictatorship, and it's like, I feel that I might need to flee Australia. Like if it gets that bad, it's so crazy. And, hey, look, the mRNA, like tracked and traced, like why else would we not need that technology in us? Like what are they not telling us? Like, with this sort of climate change hoax as well, with sustainability, like, is this so we're not producing as much as population control? Like where are they taking us? What are they doing to us? It doesn't appear good to me,
Here's some more of the reality of the live action role play here. But if you think about it, what isn't a live action role play? Because you've got virtual reality, which some people are dying to get to. And then you have real reality, which some people are living it up. And I think that's what we should embrace, is real reality versus virtual reality. Real reality can be so much cooler. It really can. And then there's super reality and hyper reality. And so with that being said, I love technology. I think technology is awesome. And if I had a chance to have like an interface with a quantum computer without having to
Robocop
check myself, if I could do it as a wearable, dude, give me the helmet,
Sign
man.
me
Let's
up.
go, right?
Yeah.
Whoa. But I'm not going to have somebody stick a chip in my brain and be like, well, we can take it out. It's a really minor process. Don't worry about it. Now, with that being said, this transitioning that we're seeing right now, or this attempt to capture as many people as they can for one side of the order, which they're going to call the new world order, because there's been many new world orders. And then there's going to be people that are going to be like, no, man, you're not going to hook me up to the machine. You're not going to stick something in my body that I don't know what it is. You're not going to use Nazi propaganda to get me to think that I'm the bad guy because I don't want to take an experimental injection that isn't even really a vaccine. It's who knows what it is. I mean, do you know what it is? You're administering it. Well, you know, we've been told it's safe. Really? Well, then how come there's people out there that are in wheelchairs already after they've taken it? I have a dear friend that is actually a part of a group that's called the FRF. It's like the Freedom Restoration Project or something like that, or FRP. And there's somebody that's a part of that group that she said that person's daughter is in a wheelchair right now after getting this. I don't know which, if it was, I don't know which one it was.
AstraZeneca or Moderna, yeah.
Right, but really, like, this is, to me, I need to be careful what I say here, even on my website.
100%. 100%. Yep.
It makes me really, oh man, like suspicious. Revelation is a playbook for these people. They're like, let's take, because Revelation has happened before, folks. It's the stuff they talked about, like the mark of the beast and all that kind of stuff. That took place 2,000 years ago when Rome fell. Like they had that then. Now they've just got a new modern version of it. Now they're going to use your genetics and they're going to hook you up with a quantum machine that's going to zap you like the pavilion dog when he went down the wrong tunnel. When you start thinking about freedom, zap. When you start thinking about, is that vaccine safe? Well, don't question that. Am I watching the right stuff on TV? Shut up and watch the news.
Don't do that again. Well, I mean, hey, could this explain the constant forcing of people getting tested and tested and tested? We need you tested, because what if they're trying to find the DNA of the second coming, like.
That's a great, or not even the second coming, the next coming, like the next avatar, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, will it be in human form? Like it could be anything, I mean, are they trying to recreate it so it's AI and that they've got the power to it? Is that what they're trying to do? Like, is that what they're trying to sort of recreate with all of these sort of prophecies that they're playing out with the sacrifices that they put onto the people? One prophecy sacrifice and all the numerology to it is 9/11 and everything we've seen last year. Like, I don't know the actual name of the Egyptian god. I maybe heard you speak about it, I'm not sure, but there was that one of them was like hacked up 14 times, and that these elites are trying
Osiris.
to. Yeah, and that these elites are recreating, because they're all sort of Freemasons to say, and Freemasonry comes from well, don't quote me on it, you know what I'm trying to say, but through the
there's a lot of ancient knowledge in Freemasonry that goes to the ancient Egyptian times and such.
Yeah. So is it true to say that maybe they're recreating this as a way to get the power, to become gods within inside themselves through through this 14 sort of sacrifices on society to get the energies to relive it, like Blade, to say, like what they did with Blade in the movie Blade.
Think about Bezos for a minute and the Amazon logo. First of all, the Amazon logo is a penis. Folks, that's exactly what it is. It's not a banana. It's not an arrow pointing. It's a phallus. And Jeff Bezos, I mean, his head kind of looks like a dickhead. And I'm not saying that. That's my opinion. And but you got the shaved head. So, chicks dig shaved heads because it looks like a dick. And then you've got the, and this is League Project, man. It's got a little Howard Stern going on right now. But then he gets launched into space in a giant dick. Yeah. I mean, the rocket looks like a penis. So wait a second. What about the obelisk? The obelisk is supposed to be Osiris's penis that got cut off. Right. So I'm sensing this wannabe Osiris thing here.
Can you say that maybe he is not of human? He has been
one of the gods
hijacked to say. You know, there are a few people that are in front of us on that. To me, if they were to turn on CERN, and CERN has now become a portal of darker forces, and if you can tap into a specific vibration through a sort of ritual or sacrifice or whatever that these elites circle are a part of, that maybe that, you know, if they have turned on CERN, darker forces are in to control and do all these things, that maybe he might be one of those that's hijacked. I mean, if you put him and Mark Zuckerberg side by side, like, you know, they both look like a crazy CIA experiment. And, you know, they don't look human. I don't think they get up and eat real human food in the morning. They look like they walk out of a chamber, and that they don't sleep in a bed, that maybe they sleep in like this upside down coffin, you know, that's in this room with like crazy, you know what I mean? Like, but that's what they look like. That is what they sort of look like. And if you look at the powers that be, the billionaire club, like, these are the people in control. So where are they taking us? You know, because the people that are screaming for help, for unity and peace and love and to turn this ship around, you know, aren't being heard. They're being suppressed. They're being censored. They're being masked. They're having their identity taken away. They're being fined. They're being threatened. They're being locked in their homes. Yet while one of the biggest hoax, you call it convert, I like that name, while the biggest hoax of mankind is being played out, Bezos jumps in a rocket ship and goes and looks at the stars. Like, congratulations.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I can't blame him. Like, I don't have any beef with him, man. I mean, I just wonder, like, if he is literally, I thought that the other day when, you know, as I was thinking about I don't know enough about him. I just know he's one of the richest dudes in the world. And I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, and he went from having this digital book that started, and then everybody bought this digital book. And the next thing you know, he's got one of the biggest companies in the world. Like, I can't blame him for launching, going in a rocket. I would actually make a rocket more like a sports car, though, because sports cars are sexy, right? Sports car, but maybe he's just trying to show his like male dominance somehow, or maybe it's all just a big coincidence. I don't know. But you could troll people with that, right? I mean, how would you not see that? How would you not realize that your rocket looks like a giant penis? I just don't like. He had to know.
You've obviously seen the memes floating around with like the coincidence with him and Dr. Evil.
Oh, I did see that video where he came out of the rocket and he was laughing just like Dr. Evil. Yes. They sounded very similar. Once again, this is my opinion. He's like, whoa.
You know, has Hollywood been subliminally programming us through all different, you know, outcomes throughout our life? Because the media lies, Hollywood tells the truth. You know, like, are they sort of projecting this? And by the power of the collective, we could tap into that and we could recreate that, you know, like, maybe this is why they shut down conspiracy theories, because if they shut it down, then that won't be exposed in a sense of being the truth. That's why they just dumb you down and just feed you with the lie, with the illusion, you know.
But a lot of conspiracy theories are lies and illusion too. So you got to be real careful, because a lot of times conspiracies are worse than the mainstream bullshit.
Well, that's it. There's misinformation everywhere. And you've just got to, like, I believe now that, like, I don't tap into it at all. I create my own reality, right? Like, I don't buy into what I see because it's just a projection. It doesn't exist in my life. Like, whatever we see is now on our phones, where, like, we see all the stuff that's going on in the world, but it's here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a projection. So if we tap out of that, put that down, all change. Like, if we were to all put the phone down or put down where it's broadcasted to us, it wouldn't exist. Do you know what I mean? Because we are the creators of our own life. So, like, you know, that is what we all need to sort of focus our time on and focus our energy on, rather than sort of being up to date. What's going on? Oh, when's the latest update? When are we allowed to do this? Because we're taking parts of what's being projected now in our hand and putting it into our own lives. You know, like, we're all getting tested for this virus, to say it's us that's getting tested, that's bringing it into our into our reality now, you know what I mean? So it's gone mad. The world's gone mad. Yeah.
It's exciting. And if you're not crazy in this world, then you're fucking crazy, because this world has gone mad.
Yeah. I think where I was going there was like, as long as we tap out of it and don't create it ourselves and create it, we can shift this, we can shift it into where we need to take it, to fight back, to say.
What would you do if you were a billionaire? Like, what's the first big thing you would do?
I'd probably have a ranch, a community and a ranch and an operation that's for sustainability and to sort of give back and show the people what we truly are within and what we are deep down within, because that to me is I think is more important, change starts within. Okay. So if I had $1 billion, I'm not going to go and do what everyone else does and buys a Lamborghini, I'll go, I'll buy an electric vehicle. Like, I'll do something that's different, because again, change starts within, right? It's not climate change. We're going age of Pisces, age of Aquarius. It's changed. The sun comes up, the moon comes up, stuff like that. It's changed, constant change. Until we can accept that we need to change, we can't be like everyone else. So that is what I'd do if I had the $1 billion. I mean, that to me would find me inner peace, inner happiness. You're not going to find happiness in the 3D external world. It's all just sort of a facade, to say, or masking. That would be it, to build a ranch. And surprisingly, this is the operation I'm trying to form with my channel, and my business now is the game experience. I'm trying to form that community. I actually don't drink. I haven't drank for 2.5 years. I use the word sober, but sober doesn't put me in the category that I'm trying to sort of speak on. But what I've noticed, with anybody that drinks alcohol and stuff like that, and this ties into my ultra running and my running events, that my life back then, if I drank and smoked cigarettes and just led an unhealthy life, I could never have seen myself running the events that I've ran. And my first running event was 10 kilometers, and then I went to 14, and so on and so forth. So
what was that ultra marathon you did? How many kilometers was that?
130.
Wow, that's about 65 miles, isn't it?
Yeah. So how does the mile thing work? So
right closer to 70. Let me look that up.
Yeah, I think it's one mile is 1.6 kilometers. So yeah, so close enough. But yeah, so
80.7783 miles.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. That's like 3 marathons. How long did it take you to do that?
Well, it was a staged event, not staged. It was a stage event. So, like one stage was 20 Ks, the next one was 40, the next one was 35, and then the next one was 31, and then the last one was 35.
Was that all in one day though, or was that over the course of a few days?
It was over a couple of days. So the first one we ran was at nighttime, and then the next one was sort of the next day. So, within space of themselves, it went over a couple of days, but it's, but
you got to have not only awesome cardio for that, but your joints and your knees have to be like titanium alloy.
Well, one thing is that I noticed that you see a lot of older people that do it, and it's, like I'm only 38, and I see these older people and they overtake me, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, and you find that we're doing more and more of them. You get the experience and you understand, like, it all boils down to nutrition, and trying to time the food intake, trying to time the water intake. Like on stage 2, it was 40 kilometers. And one of the mountain sort of that we had to climb, it was like over 1 kilometer just straight up. And the next day, like I was dehydrated and I peed a specific color, and I spoke to a medic, and they're like, "Oh, that's your muscles that you're peeing out because you didn't hydrate enough." And you're just like, "Oh my God, I nearly killed myself yesterday and I didn't even know." So
burning muscle. Because it had like your body had to find an energy source. It's like fat is gone, must eat muscle.
Yeah. Well, it was like my kidneys like just saying to me, "You're about to die. Sort yourself out." But what I was trying to say with sort of like my journey to say is that is everything I've learned from that and through my doing yoga and meditation and changing my life to say and how it plays out in the game experience of choice and frequencies and vibrations and tapping into that sort of version that I've tried to form this community now through the game experience, now creating it into a business. To show people, you know, that there's more to life than what we think, with all the chaos and madness that's sort of projected in the world today. And you know, forming a community now that's an operation, you know, where you know, I've merged into sort of cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, and a few other bits and pieces. And yeah, I've you know, I've gone within over the last couple of years, and now it's sort of time I sort of shared on what I've sort of learned within myself. So that's probably why I'd choose that when you said about the $1 billion, because I'm actually doing that now in my life to say where like, yeah.
You wouldn't build a giant penis rocket ship and launch into space?
No, I probably wouldn't. I mean, if there was a RoboCop version of a giant bolt-on one, I mean, I might.
Hello. Right on, man. Right on. That's RoboCop. That was really awesome. That's way cooler than a spaceship, man.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, look, they're trying to merge us with machines, like, you know, merge us with machines with new creation. That is the old way of creating. So why not?
Hello. You must have been like H.R. Geiger, I'm thinking of, or H.R. Giger right now. You see his stuff, right?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Just when we get done, just type in H.R. Geiger. He's the guy that came up with Aliens and the a lot of the characters of Aliens, right? The face suckers. And he's one of the most fascinating artists of all time. But he would incorporate, I think he was way ahead of his time, man, because he would merge like these hot chicks with machines that you'd look at it first, you'd be like, whoa, and then you'd be like, whoa, and then you'd be like, whoa. And it's just back. It's very fascinating, man. I think he was like tapping into alternative realities, like literally like different dimensions and stuff.
So what's your take on sort of this? Like where do you see, like, not saying where we're going, I'd like to just, what do you honestly believe that all this is, where we come from, where we're heading in like a bit of a, you know?
Well, in my opinion, I think that there are forces that, like I said, are a part of this power structure, and they believe that they are like the chosen ones, and they believe that they are descendants of the gods, and they have created this network of industries, from science to technology to the archaeological discoveries that they share with us, and the education systems and the media and the mafias and the medical industrial mafia complex and the militaries and the politicians. They've all got them underneath their umbrella, like some connection that gives them authority over them, whether somebody does a ritual that makes them think they're giving their soul to the devil, or they do something really nasty, or they've got blackmail on them or something like that, or they just have money to pay them off, or they create something that makes them think they're doing the right thing and they trick them in some way, or they're part of some secret society that makes them think that they're one of the chosen ones. But it's like there's a very few controlling at the top, at these higher levels. And in this transition in the age of Aquarius, people are starting to wake up to their true potential, and they don't want that. So they're attempting to collect as many souls and as many people as they can do without overstepping their boundaries, because they can manipulate extremely well. There's still certain boundaries that keep them a part of specific orders. But yes, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be connected to the machine, and they're going to go to work and they're going to swipe their hand, and that's going to see if they've been, like everything they did the night before, what they drank, what they ate, what's in their body, and it's going to be connected to their currency. It's going to be connected to their social credit system. There's going to be that. And then there's going to be people, and there's going to be entire states and possibly entire nations of people. They're going to be like, fuck you. We're going to do our thing, and we're going to come up with innovation our own ways. And we're not going to be an experiment to some psychopaths that are underneath these beings that think they control us. So you're going to have opposing factions, and then you're going to have people that are going to be Jedis, dude. You're going to have people that are going to come out, like they're going to be able to like say stuff into existence, and people are going to, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
That's what I mean. The whole concept of a Jedi as well, or even the Star Wars itself, with the dark forces. I mean, that is true to say. But I mean, even like, the civilization being broken down and sectioned off into zones, a bit like a Hunger Games society. But yeah, like I think that's where we all need to form community, because I think that's where this is shifting, where we've all got a choice in life. What are we going to choose to do? We're going to choose to plug into the machine, or we're going to choose to do what we need to do for the change factor, the climate, factor, the sustainability, all these things. I know, I'm sure America was looking at sort of food shortages and stuff like that. Like here in Australia, people are panic buying. I mean, if you can't see that 2020 and globally the word panic buy was used, and people were fleeing out of shopping centers with toilet paper and foods were scarce. Like if we haven't seen that in 2020, that society doesn't have a huge issue, if that's how they act, not even on a real, like in a pandemic, like imagine there was a real catastrophe, that was Mother Nature to say that shut out food for 1 month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like how long could we survive for? And everything that we're seeing with all the food issues and stuff like if it hasn't exposed how weak we are as a society and how we need to get back in tune with ourselves and become sustainable, have chickens, have a veggie garden, look, I've just gotten into bow hunting, so I'm going to try and have access to deer meat and stuff like that. But yeah, like this is what we need to do, like it's we're at a time where we have to accept it.
And I think that there's some billionaires out there that are probably white hats. I sure hope so, and it's much, there's either love him or you hate him, or you don't know Elon Musk, right? I'm fascinated with much of what he says. I'm also, I question a lot of what he says, but one of the things that's interesting is he is totally anti Bill Gates vaccine. And he's made it very clear. He's like, you're not going to put that shit in me. So at least he has an idea of how much mRNA can affect the human body. And dude, I was blogging about this 10 years ago about the Pentagon wanting to go with mRNA technologies and eliminate antibiotics. And now they're doing it in vaccines, and they're bragging about gene therapy technologies. And they're like, oh, look, we wanted to make these CRISPR people. And all we did, though, because we could do anything we want, all we did was we just made sure that they didn't get malaria or something real stupid, right? Like, why not if you're going to make a CRISPR human, why not make them like have freaking jetpack that like automatically pops out of their back and then can go back in, and then like laser beams come out of their eyeballs, and they can walk through like fire pits, and they can just go like this and then start floating because somehow they got magnetics hooked up to their DNA. I don't know, but like all you're doing is, oh well, we just wanted to make sure that they weren't colorblind, so that's what we did with their DNA when we made them. And I'm like, that just sounds like fluff to me.
Yeah. You know what? You look at Elon Musk as well, and what does he want to do? He wants to go to colonize Mars. And if you look at sort of the story behind CERN and opening up a portal, and Saturn's this dark force of Saturn's come out of CERN from Mars, and this sort of urge to get back to Mars, you kind of ask yourself, well, again, you look at what I was saying about how Bezos looks. Keep going. I'll wait till you come back. Yeah, you have a look at how Bezos looks, Zuckerberg, is Elon Musk in the same sort of cult, the CIA program cult? But you look at, are they trying to flee to Mars to get back to their homeland? With everything that he's trying to do with the colonizing. But you're right, like he doesn't want a part of it, and he knows where this is heading. And you can hear him speak when he's like, he goes like, all it will take is World War III and society is doomed. And, this is why we need to colonize Mars. But if you have a look at everything he's just done over the last, say, 12 months, he's sold a lot of his stuff. And if you try and, you look at the concept of the Great Reset and you own nothing and you'll be happy. I mean, has he sort of surrendered to the idea that maybe there's nothing that can stop this, and that's why he's sold all of his things? Like, he's sold a lot of his property and stuff, and a lot of the materialistic items that he has. Like, is he just, he knows, maybe he's preparing and getting ready. And this is why, like someone said to me that there's sort of like this portable home container sort of design that these not manufacturers that went out of business, but these manufacturers made, and they just ran out of stock because he bought it all. And there was like little rumors that, has he been sending these sort of container portable sort of space homes out into space to escape this and flee this? And you look at everything that Alex
Mars.
Jones says. Yeah, well, exactly. But like like Elysium, like that whole design, like that's what they're doing clearly.
By the time, see, and that's another thing. By the time it gets to technologies are becoming so advanced now that when I see these cyborgs that are walking around, that they've got like, oh, I have to add another arm here. Okay, let's go. That's going to be kind of barbaric. I mean, you're going to have stuff that's going to be so advanced that you're just going to be like, oh shit, I lost my arm. And then all of a sudden this nanotech is like, and then you're going to be like, do. And you're going to have missiles coming out of your fingers that are like heat seekers. And it's just going to be so much more advanced than the whole, all right, let's go. Tank on body now. That's my opinion, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's still a cool movie, man.
2038, you reckon?
Oh, dude, I think by 2038, unless there's a major shift. Well, no, you're right. There might be people out there, but there's also going to be technologies in 2038 that if you go into the Ray Kurzweil theory of the singularity, where by 2035 approximately, machines are going to be so fast and so advanced that they're going to outperform all of the processing power that every human brain connected on the planet has. So that's taking it up a notch. But with that being said, will everybody have access to that technology, or just a select few?
Well, can I ask you one question there, Rex?
Please. Yeah.
What if we're all just creating this ourselves? What if we are just creating, like everything that you said then, like you put that into thought, right? So again, I go back to what I said at the beginning, like through thought, all things were created. That was your thought. So if we don't want that scenario, should we all stop thinking about it? Because we have to think about like counter Terminators, right? We have to think about the hero's journey, because it's a hero's journey, man. So it's like, okay, we got Terminator, they're Transformers and all this stuff, but then you got the Autobots to offset the Decepticons. So it's this duality of our journey. Yeah.
If you stop thinking about if you stop, like for me, if I quit thinking about that kind of stuff, I just wouldn't be me anymore, dude. That's like, I'm riding on my bike and I'm thinking about how nanotechnology is going to find some way to interlink with people, and then this extraterrestrial consciousness from a different dimension is going to be able to integrate with it and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, dude.
That's what's crazy. I mean, have you seen the movie The Fifth Element? Yeah, I remember when I first seen that
movie. Yeah,
I remember when I first seen that. I'm not sure if it was late 90s. Sorry, I don't know if it was 98 or 99 it came out, or whether I seen it in the early 2000s. But I seen that and I'm like, wow, I wish it was 3,000 years for, I think that was like 30-32 or 30-24. It was meant to be like, I was just like, wow, I wish that time was now. And when you look at how close we're starting to get into that, and, whether the mRNA and all this, like, it's like, is this reality that's being played out, even though it appears dark, and that what they're trying to do is to merge us with the machines? Like, is this not being played out? Like, this is my childhood fantasy, to being a RoboCop. Like you said, like you'd go RoboCop. Like, I'd go RoboCop, I'd go Elysium. I'd go all these things. Like, is this all about childhood fantasies all being played out? Yeah, Robodong. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Dude. That, it's interesting. So let's think about this for a minute then. Are we experiencing a simulation that is being written as we are experiencing it? Or is it like this soup of consciousness, and the more we raise our knowledge of just everything that we experience, the more we can manipulate this soup of consciousness?
Well, I think we can manipulate it, but we are what we consume. Like, I could go out in nature and take my shoes off and walk in the dirt and the sand and take all my clothes off and just connect with nature, and that is what I've created. That's what I consumed, and that is what my reality. But if I go down a rabbit hole of cyborg and all these types of stuff, then then that might be my reality as well from what I've consumed. So it's all whatever we choose to tap into, and yeah. So I mean, maybe it's safe to say that we have a wild ride ahead of us, and to maybe perhaps buckle up, and yeah. So I don't know the best way to answer that for you, but yeah, it's going to be what it's going to be.
America.
You want to be what? So you want to be Captain America?
I want to be Captain America. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Iron Man's cool, but when Captain America and Iron Man were battling it out, it's because Stark was going to sell out to the UN, and Captain America was like, "No, dude, it's about freedom," and they beat the shit out of each other. But I think they both kind of realized after that it was a Marvel movie, and they set the script, so they were like, "Yeah."
Well, we can we can become that if we tap into that frequency. We can. Reincarnation is real, and yeah, we could become that. Like, look at The Rock. He is pretty much Hercules to say, right?
Right,
like,
dude.
Right. So I'm sure if we were to I don't know, like, just probably meditate for 10 years straight, we may be able to tap into that version, or I don't know. It sounds a little bit woo-woo, but anything's possible when you go within. Like, you can alter your timeline completely.
Yeah, man. Well, and that's another interesting thing, is that recent article, scientific article, about how they have found these neurons that light up in your brain when you think about time in a linear fashion, and they think it's these synapses and these neurons that are actually creating your time. And if that's the case, then you could manipulate time just with certain chemicals and inducing specific brain reactions, which is quite fascinating to think about. But that's could be way off too. Who freaking knows, man? We're in the Matrix, dude. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's coming to us, isn't it? Like, we're tuning into that consciousness, where we're definitely tapping into it somewhere. And maybe in time, we may be able to be enlightened by it, like what we were saying before about the dark forces are trying to trap our spirits in the cloud. How do we not know that the light forces aren't trying to trap us in the cloud of consciousness? Like, again,
right.
It's clear that this is a spirit war, it's a race war, it's a war on our consciousness. Like, maybe this is sort of like the blueprint or the secret to what they say we're going to upgrade into the age of Aquarius. Like this is maybe the 5D in consciousness that we're going to get. Like we will tap into source, the creator. And I mentioned about the breath work, you know, with going within and you tap into God, you know that you're love, you know that you're God, you know that you're creation within. What if we all just kept going within, you know, and we tap into consciousness, like, you know, like
keep going in until you pop out of the sky, right? Like and then all of a sudden next thing you know, you're next to the star constellations and such. So it's like we're looking out there, but we're looking in here. Or vice versa.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I hear a lot of people speak about when they astral project or projection, the astral projection and stuff. And some people say that they can't get past outer Earth. You know, some people say that they go to the moon. You have?
Yeah, I've been way past it. Oh yeah. Matter of fact, the best experience I ever had on out-of-body experience was I pushed myself out as far as I could. And I got so far out, dude, that I felt like I was looking at the entire universe. And it was about the size
you do that?
of, I just kept pushing myself, man, because I'll give you a book. It's called The 90-Day Guide to Astral Projection. It's beautiful. You follow those steps and you will have an out-of-body experience. And the first time I had one was when I was going to sleep and I hadn't even studied it. It was way back in the day and I was just falling asleep and I popped out of my body and it scared me. And then I woke back up and then I started to fall asleep again. And then I popped out of my body and it scared me so much I woke myself up again. But anyway, after that, I started to study it and research it and practice it. And I haven't been doing it much lately. But a few years ago, I went so far out, dude, that like it's kind of like, imagine those movies that you watch where you've got bird's eye view, but you'll start on the earth and then you'll zoom out and then you'll go past the moon, then you'll go past the planets, and then you go past like all these different star clusters and stuff like that. It was kind of like that. But once I got to the furthest point out, it was this really warm feeling. And I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. And there's like this blue aura around a whitish colored ball. And it just felt like I was looking at the entire universe. I wasn't outside of it, but I was at the same time, man. It was. Is
the blue orb the pineal gland chakra or the?
No, that's the top chakra's
purple,
violet, purple. Yeah.
So blue. So
what I saw was white, like a white ball like this, and then about the size of a grapefruit, maybe. And then around it was a blue hue.
Yeah, right. You have to tell me. You have to tell me the name of that
anybody
book
that says they've never been past the earth.
Well, that's what
they've never been past the earth. Just say try harder.
Well, that's what I was going to say about that. Like I think in 2013, I sort of what I believe I projected myself and I only got as far as sort of the clouds, but I didn't understand what had happened until after I heard others speak about what happens, that you sort of get this sort of golden sort of elevator projection that follows you, like a pyramid shape that's like like that, you know, and that, and then I was sort of shown sort of another entity, and it's like I projected up to the clouds, and then this other entity just zoomed in and came straight at me. That was like a brown faced, which looked like it was definitely another entity, whether it was like a part of my sort of higher self, like this other, it was definitely another being. Like I'll send you a photo after this of what it actually looked like. I don't know the actual, because you know, you got the Greys and is it the Archons, and you got all these different names of these space beings, the Pleiadians and stuff like that. And it come to me, and then it vanished. And then probably a couple of weeks later, I was telling somebody the story and piecing it all together. And one of the things that they say with astral projection is that you do get that golden sort of projection. And if you are willing, and when you are ready to accept this other being, that they will then come to you, you know, but you've got to be accepting to it and open to it. And it came to me, and I wasn't shocked, but it was like as soon as they realized that I was there, that they vanished. But I thought that within the astral projection side of it, that, you know, in the firmament theory, that we could never escape beyond that, and we could not get to space. But you said that you've had that experience, so gets to the whole idea of the whole prison planet concept. But yeah, I'd be interested in that book that you said of reading that and giving the projection a go myself, because if you can tap into that and go for a bit of a wild ride, it's interesting.
An out-of-body experience is one of the most, if not the most amazing thing you'll ever do. I mean, sex is amazing. This is also amazing. So I'm thinking to myself, folks, if you ever want to have a truly just out-of-body experience, have an out-of-body experience. Try it. Do your follow the protocols. And the best way to do it is as you're going to sleep, because as you're going to sleep, like your mind is your mind and your body are going to sleep. But if you can keep your mind awake and your body asleep, and there's certain mantras you can say, like, I am more than my physical body. I'm more than my physical body. I'm more than my physical body. And then you do this like energy work where you'll project your consciousness, for example, from your fingertip to your toe. And then you can start making like you can get a ruler and put the ruler like this on your skin, and you'll just kind of feel that, as you move the ruler up and down, or just something to feel like that, or even your finger like this. And then you visualize it, and you feel it back and forth while you're not doing it. And that starts to activate your energy body. And you start off like getting rid of, I guess, stuff that's a part of your energy body that's not supposed to, but you go through like this filtering process. And then you do something in the morning and you do the mantras, and then at night and you do the mantras, and you follow this energy work. And within the first 7 to 10 days, I would say even, you will start, like, as you'll do what's called consciousness projection, where you bounce your self off of the walls. Like you'll try and feel what it feels like to bounce yourself off the wall back and forth. And then you can do like the rope technique. There's the elevator technique, but you're just visualizing this, and you're adding as much of your sensory perception to it as you can as you're going to sleep. And that's how you pop out, dude. And actually you'll know when you're about ready to pop out, when it feels like your bed's shaking, but it's not. If you've got a cat or a dog, and if you ever had a cat or a dog in your bed and it's like scratching itself or something like that, that's what it feels like right before you leave your body.
So it takes a bit of time to get to that point.
Unless it happens the way it did with me the first time, when it was just totally natural and I was extremely tired, but my mind was still awake somehow, and my body fell asleep, and that's when I popped out. And that's actually the most common time is when people are right about to fall asleep. So with your ultra marathons and stuff that you do, right? You're working out and you're doing all this intense exercise. Then you get home and you're about ready to fall asleep. And if you can find a way to keep your mind awake as your body falls asleep, that's when you can pop out of your body.
Yeah. I done a meditation yesterday, and I went to a place that was when I came to, I'm like, it felt like I just opened up a door, went to a different realm and explored it, and come back, and I was just full of just like all this inner peace. And I'm like, that took me somewhere then, I think I had some theta brainwave music playing, I think. And I went somewhere, and I mean, it's fascinating if you can tap into this, and it's all like, there's all things you've got to do to be able to sort of get to that sort of phase. The water's full of chemicals and our toothpaste and stuff. You start to eliminate all that stuff, and, go whole foods and plant-based a bit, and start to sort of get grounded within yourself. And so it'll end up opening up these sort of doorways where you can go and explore yourself, and it's not woo-woo, like it's ancient sort of traditions speak of it. People that have ayahuasca experiences speak about it. Like the human being is a very powerful tool. And it can do some fascinating things, we're taught things from the past of gods and all types of beings and things have done it. Why can't we do it? It's very humbling if you can. And I love it. I try and meditate every day and just see where it takes me. But sometimes, you don't get that free ticket to the cosmos. So it always takes work to get there. Like anything. And like anything, you know, you got to put in the work and then you get the reward. So, but then when you get the reward with this type of stuff, it's like, oh, damn it. Like I wasn't taking notes. I wasn't ready that time.
Oops. Did you get that on film, man?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but like all of that, like, you know, I found myself coming out of some of these sort of meditations and whatnot and getting like downloads of information of what's going on around the world. And I did say that, you know, before, like I felt like I was tapping into the dark forces and stuff. And it was starting to freak me out a little bit. And yeah, I keep going on to saying why I started my channel and stuff, like to speak about it. But it's actually good speaking to you, because like
that's really cool.
I've tried to reach out to so many people that understand all of this, you know, and just sort of express like, this is what I've been dealing with. And this is sort of, you know, and yeah, so finally getting the opportunity to speak to somebody that makes sense with all of this type of stuff. And, you know, like you're the first person that's actually I've spoken to one-on-one that's actually said about the projection thing, you know, and I believe that that's normal. And you speak to anyone else and they'll say it's crazy. Yeah, so.
It's a small percentage of us that use our brain and actually think for ourselves and do the research, versus somebody that just watches something on the news and they like, yeah, that's wrong, man. They said so. You're like, well, show me the science. I don't have to. I saw it on the Communist News Network. Oh, okay. CNN. All right, you're right. Everything on CNN is completely legit. It's to the point of diminishing returns now. So a lot of times I'm like, I used to, like, I would just give my heart and soul and try and wake somebody up in that, you know, and now I'm like, I'll give them an opportunity and see where they go with it. But if they don't want it, man, hey, it's not my, you know, hey, have a wonderful day. You can drink aspartame or you can have organic. It's up to you.
Well, that's it. I mean, look, you know, you can't wake the whole world up. And if you have a message to say and you wake that one person up, as long as you reach an audience of one person or you change that one person's life, you know, some people are going to be accepting to it. You know, these are the people in society that take the blue pill daily. You know, some people want the blue pill. Not everybody wants the red pill. Nobody wants to escape the matrix, you know, like it's all choice. You know, I can't force my choice onto you, or I can't force my beliefs onto you. It's up to you to be ready. It's up to you to accept it. It's up to you to take it all on board. And that's that. And, you know, if you don't, and we don't see eye to eye, there's no need to hate each other. There's no need to attack each other. There's no need to scream with rage that you're an anti-masker or an anti-vaxxer or like Black Lives Matter, turn it down, rah. Like there's no need that we need to express that out into the world, that toxicity, that negativity, that, you know, that mental illness projection that you know, the Communist News Network that tells us that is normal and it's peaceful and, oh, you act that way, don't worry, come over here because we've got the tablet just for you to keep you further asleep, keep you further trapped in the matrix, poison your mind even more. You know, hey, come over here to our cult. We will welcome you and accept you, you know, and not only will we welcome you and accept you, we've created trigger words for you to use so you know where you fit in society. When we find those that speak the truth, we can point the finger and label them as conspiracy theorist or any vaxxer or any masker. Hey, come over here, guys. We've already formed the cult. You're welcome. You know, and that's that.
Would you? And we'll give you $100 if you want to change your DNA with some extra graphene. And you've been holding out. We've offered you free weed. We've offered you free donuts, free beer, and you haven't taken it yet. So now we're going to give you $100. What do you say?
No, not only that, we'll give you a free Krispy Kreme. Here's some poison. Boom, straight in your arm.
Stick it right in there. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Your DNA sucks anyway. We need to alter it. Okay. No thanks. My mind is not for rent to any or any government. And I think that we have a choice to think for ourselves. And capital G gave us something inside of ourselves to embrace. So Dude, how do people get in contact with your work? How do they hear your podcast? How do they
Well, I mean, look, my podcast and my channel is only small. Like I'm trying to, grow it to say, I do, I can just, share you my links, but, because the channel is small, if you were to look it up on YouTube, the channel is called The Game Experience. I do have a link tree, which, connects me to my Instagram. And I do have a backup channel, which I'm trying to grow because of some of the, the YouTube sensitive content, we're trying to just things you can't say. So, did develop a couple of strikes where I was trying to now grow this new channel. Because I mean, my whole message is, so we be better and, inspire and share awareness and waking people up where, I want to speak to people, that seek greatness and want to make change in the world, so I've had to, now form this backup channel, but yeah, the Game Experience, I can send you the links, and anybody that wants to reach out and speak to me, like I've started this for community, on the purpose of speaking and interacting with people and reaching out to people. And, some of the topics that interest me, like there is so much. I know one guy that you got on Ra, that what he calls him? That I hear some of the things that he speaks about, and I'm very interested in some of the things that he says. And, I'm not saying that, is this a shout out for him to hear me, but I'd like to talk to him and get some info on what, he ties it.
I'll send him your email.
Yeah, of course. Cause I mean, like, and all that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, all that stuff fascinates me. I want all the information I can get and create what I'm trying to create. So yeah, but I'll send you everything of mine. And yeah, anybody who wants to reach out, say good day, talk on camera, I'm open to the guests. And Rex, look, I love what you do, and I love what you formed and created and built. I love your journeys that you've been going on, and your little Tomb Raider investigations. I just label it as Tomb Raider, but like going and looking at the little adventures you've been going on lately. And yeah, I mean, I've been a subscriber and a follower and a fan for many years. And yeah, and I really appreciate this having the opportunity to speak, and it was an honor, and yeah, ever so grateful. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Jonathan. And your name reminds me of speaking of the Matrix. Guy plays the Matrix, and he plays in this film also. John Wick.
Well, my name's Jonathan.
Whoa,
my name.
Oh my gosh! It took me that long to figure this out. Holy shit! I'm slow today. Wow. My name's like John Wick, dude.
My name's Jonathan Chadwick, and we have John Wick behind me. And hey, man, if this was a simulation, and if this was a, what character do I want to be? Well, I mean, maybe this guy behind me is of that,
Keanu Reeves is a legend, man. And so funny that it's right there. And I'm in such deep, like, we're having this conversation. I'm like, wait a second. I'm looking at your name, Chadwick. And I'm like, Jonathan Chadwick. What does that remind me of? John Wick. And then you've got the poster behind you. And anyway, folks, yeah. Hello. It's hot in the van, dude. I turned it off. I got no AC in here.
I'm heating up too. I'm heating up too. So,
well, let's finish this up. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here with us on the Leak Project. Thank you for watching the podcast. Be excellent to each other. Click up the video description box so you can look at the links and you can listen to the man, the myth, the legend, Jonathan Chadwick, like John Wick.
Good night and thank you.
Right on, man. Cheers, brother. Thank you.